Have you ever thought about what happens if a financial report is mistranslated? Imagine a company publishing its annual earnings, but one number or one word is mistranslated in another language. That mistake could cause investors to panic, companies to lose money, or even lead to legal problems. That's why a specialized translation in economics and business is so important. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my podcast. Today, I'll be talking about the translation needs in economics and business, why they matter, and the skills a translator must develop in this area. I am Diana Jarquin, a translator specialized in economics and business, and I'll be with you talking about this important area, right? So I gather 5 questions from our followers, and these are the ones I thought, these are interesting ones. The first one is, what is a specialized translation in this field? So it's very important to know the differences between, everyday language. So when we talk about a specialized translation in economic and business, we are talking about documents like financial reports, contracts, audits, economic analysis, and even marketing strategies. This may be new for you. So when we talk about them, we're not talking about simple text. As you know, they carry legal, financial, and corporate consequences. That's why this has to be done very carefully. For example, a translator working on an audit report has to understand not only numbers, but also accounting terminology. And when we talk about a marketing translator, on the other hand, he or she has to adapt slogans or campaigns so they make sense in another culture while still keeping the original intention. So, as you know, in other words, specialized requires much more than language skills. We need a strong knowledge of technical terms, economic concepts, and cultural context to avoid errors that could cost companies time, money, and credibility. Nice. Now, the second question I got from another follower is, what are the main areas of economics and business translation? So, we have some areas where translation plays a key role. These are some of the most important ones. So first we have the financial translation. So this covers, as you know, reports, balance sheets, audits, and any text dealing with financial data. So the accuracy here is essential because a wrong decimal or term can completely change the meaning of a document. Then we choose a legal business translation. This includes contracts, agreements, and legal documents connected to business activities. A mistranslation could make a contract invalid or misunderstood by one of the parties. Then we have the marketing and corporate communication. This is about advertising, presentation websites, and social media campaigns. Here the challenge is adapting the tone message for different audiences without losing the company's brand identity. And finally, we have the academic research translation. So economics and business are constantly studied and analyzed. So research articles and studies also need accurate translation to reach an international audience. So as you can see, translators can specialize in many directions depending on their interests and skills. Now, the third question I gathered was, why translation needs in economics and business more important nowadays? So nowadays, globalization has connected companies from all around the world. Multinational corporations trade across continents, and digital markets reach millions of customers, and international partnerships are part of daily business. In this context, accurate translation is essential. So let's picture this. Imagine two companies negotiating a contract. If a clause is mistranslated, it could completely change the terms of the agreement. Or think about a business expanding into a new country. If their marketing campaign is not translated carefully, the message might offend the audience or simply fail to connect with them. So, in today's globalized economy, translation is not just a tool, it's a bridge that allows collaboration, competitiveness, and trust. Now, finally, the question that I think most of you are interested in is, can machine translation be trusted in this field? This is a very interesting question. And this was the one I really wanted to talk about. So, machine translations like Google Translate or DeepL have improved a lot in recent years. I'm not going to deny that. And they can be useful for quick translations or to get the general idea of a text. However, in economics and business translation, the stakes are too high to rely only on machines. Why? Because machine translation often struggles with context. So, let's say, for example, the word equity. It could mean fairness in a social text, but in a financial report, it refers to capital or stocks. A machine might pick the wrong option and cause confusion. That's why human translators are essential in this field. We can analyze context, adapt the tone, and ensure consistency. Technology is a great support tool, especially with CAT tools and terminology databases. But the human element is irreplaceable when it comes to precision and nuance. Okay, so now that we talked about all of your questions, let me wrap up everything we have said over here. So, translation in economics and business is a specialized and demanding field. I'm not going to deny it. It requires a lot of precision, technical knowledge, cultural awareness, and the ability to adapt messages across languages and context. So, next time you read about international business, think about the translator behind those words. Without accurate translation, the global economy simply wouldn't function. That's why this is very important. Okay, everyone? Thank you so much for listening to my podcast. I hope this topic gave you a clear idea of how important and fascinating this field of translation really is. Until next time with a new topic. See you next week. Bye.